Hey, welcome in everybody to today's DFS Minute brought to you by DFSArmy.com, your one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy sports, all tools, all coaching, unlocked with the coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, that triggers that 20% off discount each and every month. I am Chop Adong. I'm a senior coaching contributor over at DFSArmy.com, and what I want to talk to you about today is something that I see very, very prevalent out there in the social media sphere, the blogosphere, the wherever people are interacting and talking, and I constantly hear this excuse of, well, if I had 150 lineups, I could do it too. Or if I had the bankroll to make 150 lineups, I could do it too. You are absolutely kidding yourself. I'm sorry, you are. Because otherwise, you would be. You're either a single entry player, you can be maybe even a 3 max type of player, they're similar, or you're an MME type of player that runs 100, 150 lineups out there. But the two different styles take different thought processes. They take different research techniques. They take different ideas. And while one player may be very, very good at one method, he typically might not be at the other. And I keep hearing this. You're using that as a crutch or an excuse that, well, if I only could, you know what? If I only had rockets up my butt, I could beat Usain Bolt in a race too. But what I'm trying to point out to you is the differences between the disciplines and the fact that what MME actually does is compounds your winning and your losing. If you're a winning player, it will most likely compound your winning faster. If you are a losing player, it will magnify it, and you will lose oodles quickly. I can tell you this out of experience. I'm not an MME player. I'm a single lineup type of player, and when I try to MME, I don't typically do that well. I'm trying to learn it because I like to be able to get up to speed and be able to help advise some people on the very basics. It's part of what I do at DFSArmy.com. But I got to tell you, I'm not great at the style. We have some that are. And those are the guys that we should be learning from and listening to. These are the guys that I try to ask questions to on a daily basis myself, because even though I may coach in some areas, I still need coaching in other areas. That's just full disclaimer, and that's everybody. Everybody's a coach. I don't care if you play for $5 a day, $100 a day, $1,000 a day. Everybody can learn something from everybody. And being short-sighted and saying that, oh, MME would be, the only thing stopping me from doing that well is bankroll, is absolutely dishonest to yourself and absolutely fooling yourself. Let me show you kind of what I mean at DFS Army, what we end up showing people how to do. If you want to be a single lineup builder, go for it. You can do very, very well when that lineup gets layered or laddered into a lot of different contests. Then you run the table in a 50-50, triple man, quintuple up, 100-man league, 1,000-person GPP, 15,000-person GPP, whatever it is. If you win that 15,000-person GPP, you just swept every other category you were ever in. And we can teach you how to layer those contests appropriately if that's the way you build your lineups. However, there are a couple of different types of MME players here. If you're like CG, or we got 4th place in that one too, which is pretty darn cool. But if you're like CG, you spread out quite a bit. And you're covering a base. What you're hoping for is a couple sneak through and go deep in the money. Because that's what's going to make or break your night. Without these two lineups, this is a losing proposition for him. He loses more money than he makes on that night. Does that mean he's a bad player? No. Does it mean that he can't teach you how to play? No. It means this is the way he plays. This is the way he reviews data and the way he understands data and the way he attacks the slate with his game plan. And if you think like he does, you would identify with him as a coach. Another single entry, really a 3 or 4 entry type of player here that had a good night, obviously, and ran the table, turned whatever it was into $33,000 cash. $175, $180 or so on this picture here into what amounts to $27,000, $28,000 worth of cash. That's a pretty darn good day for somebody who decided that they didn't need 150 lineups to make money. It's just not a guarantee that you're going to make money with them. You have to still be good. You might run a contest like this with 8 or 10 lineups in it. And if your core of players, whichever 3, 4 of these players were in his core, did well, the differentiations are what made the difference in these lineups. One went super deep, another one did pretty well, and then a bunch of others still cashed. We can show you how to run a tighter core. We can show you how to run fewer lineups in these bigger contests too. That's just what we do. Or you can just cover everything. If you have the bankroll, this is what you might do. And in this case, you're strictly going for the win. Got a lot in there. Without this, I've been told multiple times that without the win or without second, third place in these bigger contests, there's no chance you're making money on it. And so you're running week after week after week, hoping to win a couple along the way. But you're covering every damn base you possibly can in a showdown type of slate in a full 150 MME type of situation. That does take a bankroll. Showdowns are volatile. MME is volatile in this scenario, but you're searching for the nut lineup. And with our bigger bankroll players, they're doing it in MMA, they're doing it in NASCAR, they're doing it in NFL. But again, don't forget the fact that they are either accelerating their winning or accelerating their losing. And they need to know what type of player they are before they go do things like this. There's another one where a handful made it across the money line. One got deep. It split with a bunch of people, but it still was the nut lineup on the night. That's just in a nutshell how we do. If you're a single lineup type of player and you want to run one lineup in there, get deep into the tournament, turn $43 and $12,000. Again, we can teach you to do that whether you have one lineup or many lineups. It's a fallacy that the only thing stopping you from winning like the pros is the bankroll to run $150 a night. That type of advice should not be listened to. That type of excuse, that type of complaining is going to hold you back as a daily fantasy sports player. If you think like that, you need to become a VIP at dfsarmy.com. You need to use the coupon code CHOP, CHOP, get that 20% off discount, and get in here and get your head right and start learning today how to maximize your skill level for the types of contests that you will perform best in, and do it with the only community centered around teaching you how to make yourself a better player. I'm chopping on. I'm out of here. Have a good weekend, everybody. Hopefully we find something to talk about on Monday, and we will talk to you then. Until then, like and subscribe the video. Pass it around on social media. I really appreciate them trying to keep these things under 5 to 10 minutes. It's your DFS Minute, brought to you by dfsarmy.com. Take care.